Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all having a fantastic evening. Tonight I'm going to be doing a review, and boy do I have a treat for you. This is something very different. It's an art house film, and it doesn't rely on any dialogue whatsoever. So although it's a foreign film, you won't have to worry about reading subtitles. Now the film was made in 1996. It's from the Czech Republic, and it's directed by a very famous art house director. Now, I have never heard of this guy before. I'm not really big in the art house scene, and I'm not really big on Czech cinema, but he's regarded as quite a genius of Czech cinema and art house cinema. His name is Jan Svankmajer, and as I said, it was made in 1996, and this film is called Conspirators of Pleasure. Now, I'll do my best to give you the most clear rundown of the film. It is without a doubt the most bizarre film I've ever seen, so it's going to be very, very difficult to make sense of it, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So basically the film revolves around 6 people. Now these 6 people have nothing to do with each other, and the film doesn't follow a storyline of the traditional sense. It's a film about sexual fetishes. Now it's not a hardcore film, it's only 15 plus. It doesn't have sex scenes, and it doesn't have full frontal nudity. It has some nude shots of bare backsides, but it is not a hardcore film. It's just a film about bizarre fetishes that these people have. So these 6 people, as I said, nothing to do with each other, and the stories don't intertwine. So basically what we have, there is one person who is a letter carrier. She delivers mail, and her sexual fetish is that she likes to get bread. She takes a little bit out of the little bit of the bread with her fingers, licks the bread, and basically rolls them up into dough. She does this, and she puts them inside her lunchbox, and when she gets home, before she goes to bed, she likes to get these tubes up her nose and snort up these dough balls. And this is what gives her sexual gratification. She also likes to stuff her ears with these dough balls as well. When she wakes up, she likes to blow them out of her nose and out of her ear into the bowl, and she basically sells this as fish food. So that's her sexual sort of fetish. Then we have a shopkeeper. Now this shopkeeper is obsessed with this newsreader. Now this newsreader is very attractive, and every single time she comes on the television, he basically turns down the sound and turns on this romantic music, and he basically makes out with the TV set with her on it and pretends that it's her. To further enhance his sexual gratification in this moment, he builds this machine. Now this machine, there are hands all over. He turns it on and the hands start rubbing his body. And then there's another hand that's around his private region, and it has this sort of motion. So you can kind of tell what he is doing while he is making out with this newsreader on the TV set. So that's his sort of sexual fetish. Then the customer of this shopkeeper, he always likes buying porn. So he's a bit of a porn addict, and he's always really embarrassed by it. But he has a fetish, and he likes to dress up as a chicken, and he likes to perform voodoo rituals that involve a doll that resembles his plump neighbour. He doesn't like his neighbour at all. His neighbour's quite unpleasant. So he takes the doll to this remote area, and he acts like a chicken, and he basically carries his voodoo sort of ritual out on the doll. In return, the fat neighbour really hates him, and she's made a doll of him. She basically takes this doll into an abandoned church, gets on her dominatrix outfit, and whips the doll for pleasure. Then we have the newsreader, who likes to have fish, carp, likes to have carp suck on her toes while she is reading the news. So she's basically sitting there with her feet inside this bowl of water with these carp sucking on her toes, and that's her sort of fetish. Then the newsreader's husband, who is very isolated from his wife, likes to get nude and basically get these cooking sort of utensils, kitchen appliances, cover them in feathers and roll them across his naked body, and that's what he gets for pleasure. So that's basically the main sort of characters that I can remember. The rest, if there are any others, aren't really important to the film. But that's your basic synopsis, and that's how bizarre the film is. So hopefully I've left enough interest for you to really want to go out there and watch the film. Now, as I said, there aren't really any spoilers. I'm not going to really give away the actual events that occur while they're going through these sexual fetishes, but that's your basic sort of synopsis that, the best that I could do to make it as clear as possible. Because as I said, it is an extremely bizarre film. It is no dialogue whatsoever. So I was really umming and ahhing about whether or not the director could pull this film off because it is 80 minutes long. And I can say that I was just absolutely astounded by how good this film was. If you're a fan of the bizarre and wonderful kind of film, then I would highly recommend you go and pick this one up because it is definitely unlike any film you will have ever seen before. Unfortunately, not enough people talk about it. It is a masterpiece of cinema. And it has taken so much skill to make this movie, and the director has just absolutely blown me away with this one. What makes this film so funny is that it could be your neighbor that does this kind of thing. We all have fetishes to some extent, and some, especially in this film, are more extreme than others. There is something that makes us tick, and the reason we don't share these things that make us tick, and that's what the scary and the funny thing is about this thing, because the person you see every day could have a hidden sort of agenda and fetishes like this. Although I would dare say that no one would have fetishes like these guys, but it's the same kind of thing. The person you see every day in the street, you could feel that they're completely normal, but in their private lives, you'd never know what they could do. And that's, a very realistic sort of portrayal in this film. Although, the characters are very exaggerated, and although there is no dialogue, it will keep you interested straight from the first scene. The colours are very strong, and the visuals, the actors, they all did a perfect job in portraying a film, giving you some sort of insight into these lives without any dialogue whatsoever. I didn't know how the hell they would come across this, because eventually in a film that's 80 minutes long, surely you would have to get some sort of dialogue in there, but they didn't. And that's something that's very, very different, and it did work because they basically communicated with each other with a nod of the head, or shake of the head, or the shake of the hand, and it kind of made you feel that you're in a surreal kind of world. And Jan Svankmajer apparently does this a lot in his films. He's a very strange man, and this is evidence of his strange sort of thought processes. And I'm really, really like his style, and I will definitely be checking out more of his stuff. Now, at the same time, you could say this is a comedy. It is very funny. It's very clean. As I said, there's no graphic sex. There is no full frontal nudity at all. You get to see some butts, but that's about it. So it is a very clean film. As I said, it's 15 plus, so it can't be too bad. But it is very disturbing at the same time funny, because I'm not going to give anything away, but you see some of these sexual fetishes and you think these guys are seriously perverted. And you would never look at these people the same again. If you realize that someone you've known for ages did this kind of thing, you wouldn't look at it in the same again, because this is very, very bizarre. And that's why I found it really funny. And there are some scenes that will really make you laugh, especially the scene involving the chicken man. There is some animation in the film, especially involving the dolls. They come to life in their imaginations, and it required some animation work, and apparently that's what the director is known for as well. So he created an animated film inside a very real film, and he just completely made a world of his own. And not one part of this film is boring. It's all just so exaggerated and bizarre, and that's exactly what I love. That's why I adore this film. It's a masterpiece. It really is. I say it a lot, but this one really is a masterpiece in the truest sense, because he has made a film that goes for 80 minutes without any dialogue, and it really did require a lot of skill. Now, it could be down as a comedy, it's down as a sexual kind of movie, and at the same time, some of it will disturb you, and the actual atmosphere to the film is kind of nightmarish. So you could regard this as a horror film, because some of these sequences in this film are very dark and dreamlike and very bizarre, and it will, kind of scare you to some extent, because it did to me. So it really did make me feel a lot of things. It won't arouse you whatsoever, because all the sexual activity in this film is very bizarre, very uncomfortable, and just wrong. And so, go into this film knowing what you're going to get, and that's the unexpected. It really is a film that I have never seen before, and I will hold in my top 5 eventually, because it really is bizarre, and I hope I've made sense in this review. But it's just one of those films that you have to see to believe, because it really is something that's going to blow you away. So that's my review of the Conspirators of Pleasure. I really hope I've made sense of it because, as I said, it really is a film you're going to have to watch to know what I'm talking about. And if you can pick it up, I would definitely recommend you do because it really is a gem. It's a film that, I'd never seen before and I'm never likely to see again. So, yeah, if you can get it, definitely worth it. Even if it's expensive, I would still recommend you pick it up because it really is one of a kind. Alright guys, that's my review. Sorry it took a little bit longer than usual, but this is a film that required that. So until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later. Bye.